Thank you. The time is 4:17 on March 21st, Monday, 2022. And I would like to call to order the March 21st meeting of the Norwalk Board of Police Commissioners. We have a quorum with Commissioner Collier Clemens, Commissioner Tony Lopez, and Mayor Harry Rilling. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from February 28th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Lopez. Any corrections, omissions, deletions, additions?
Yes, there's a correction on page 2, paragraph 1, line 3. Severed should be served.
Okay. Okay, any further corrections? Okay, all in favor of approval of the minutes as corrected?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Do we have anybody wishing to address the Board of Police Commissioners?
Is there anybody in the community room, Sue?
Hold on, I've got Brian down there. I'm going to check with him right now.
We have one attendee, Mr. Joe Frateroli.
Yep, as for attendees in the actual Zoom meeting, if you'd like to address the commission, feel free to click.
That's
the raise hand
Officer
button.
Frateroli. That's an item that's going to be an executive session.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Never mind. Then other than that, we have nobody else.
Okay. We'll wait for Deputy Chief Zecca.
Mayor, there does not appear to be anybody from the public who wants to address the commission. However, it's taking just a minute for Brian to get in via Zoom there, and we do have a member of the press in the audience, so I don't know if you want to wait until he gets onto Zoom or not.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Are they down in the community room?
Yes, sir, and Lieutenant Cunningham is logging into the link now. Hang on just.
Yeah, we should pause
Hello?
for a moment.
They're on the public link, if we could allow them into the meeting.
Okay. I see Lieutenant Cunningham and Officer Frateroli.
Yes. If you could let the lieutenant in.
Would you like me to switch them over to panelist?
Yes, so that way we could see who's in the room.
Okay, it looks like Lieutenant Cunningham is now a panelist. And Lieutenant, do you have the press with you that they're able to participate? Okay, there they are. Okay, very good. Okay, so next item on the agenda is the operations report, patrol staffing and selective enforcement. Deputy Chief Walsh, welcome back from the FBI National Academy. I'm sure that you represented Norwalk extremely well, and that you left a good impression on them down there. I know Deputy Chief Zecca has been in attendance. I believe Chief Kahalik as well. No, okay. So we have at least two of you that have. So Deputy Chief Walsh, you're up.
Mayor, Deputy Chief Zecca actually did the report. This is my first day back in the office. So I'll be picking that up again next month. So
Okay.
Sue's going to handle those responsibilities.
That's,
And I want to thank
that's no
the,
excuse. I thought you were
I'm
going to do it
sorry.
over the weekend.
I'm sorry. I was a little busy down there. And I want to thank the mayor and the police commission for sending me down there. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're quite welcome. Deputy Chief Zecca, would you
Oh.
take over?
Okay, so in terms of staffing, we're currently, as of the end of February, 161 sworn, which leaves us with 20 patrol officer vacancies. During the month of February, we had 2 resignations and 2 officers leave on disability retirement. There was 169 sick days used by sworn personnel and 180 workman's compensation days used by sworn personnel. We have 8 officers on extended workman's comp currently. And
I
there's-
know that Karma is working with them, correct?
Yes.
To work with them to see about the possibility of return to duty. Okay,
Absolutely. And we currently have 2 officers on light duty. So they've been assigned administrative tasks within the department. In terms of our detective bureau activity and significant cases for February, there was 1 commercial burglary, 4 residential burglaries, 19 motor vehicle burglaries, 4 robberies, 3 larcenies, 1 assault, 5 death investigations, 4 IVOAs, and 6 other cases that they looked into. Of significance was an arrest on, the November 7th, 2001 TD Bank robbery. They were able to bring that to an arrest in February, charging robbery 1st and larceny 5th. And then also they made an arrest in a burglary of St. Joseph's Rectory, charging burglary 1st and larceny 3rd.
Okay.
Our special services activity and significant cases, they opened 23 cases in February, 15 felony arrests, 9 misdemeanor arrests. It was 15 warrants and 4 search warrants. Of note was they handled compliance checks with the Department of Mental Health and Tobacco Prevention and Enforcement Program. So that was for sale of tobacco to minors. Of that operation, they cited 8 out of 10 establishments that they visited. For our special victims unit, they opened 60 cases for February, made 4 felony arrests, 1 misdemeanor arrest, and served 5 search warrants. Of note was they extradited a subject from Florida for a 2009 warrant that charged sexual assault 3rd and risk of injury to a minor. A juvenile was arrested for a breach of peace incident related to a teacher. And then a juvenile was arrested for providing another juvenile with Adderall. For community police services, they made 91 stops for the month, gave out 45 citations, 5 misdemeanor arrests, 25 written warnings, and 17 verbal warnings. In addition to enforcement efforts, they provided 2 funeral escorts. They provided selective enforcement for motor vehicle violations on Fox Run, Friendly Road, and Rowayton Avenue, and installed 9 car seats. The total criminal arrests for February was 129. And total calls for service were 3,422. For the selective enforcement report, there were a total of 162 arrests in February, 33 for traveling too fast, 8 for stop signs or other violations, 4 for control signal, 17 for no license, 7 for suspended license, 2 for operating without insurance, 1 for using a cell phone while driving, and 6 driving under the influence arrests.
As the weather is getting warmer, I can see Deputy Chief Walsh already smiling. As the weather is getting warmer, we see some more loud vehicles out there going up and down Washington Street and around down through the beach, et cetera. So maybe we can keep an eye out for some of those so that people that are eating outside on Washington Street and people on Beach Road that want to sleep can do so.
Understood.
Okay.
And unrelated, in reference to noise, not the vehicles, but in general, we are doing scheduling a refresher training for the officers that we have trained in the noise meter. To
Yes, and I see we had a positive response from one of the people that were complaining about noise down on Washington Street. Seems to be happy with our efforts for the time being. Let's keep up the good work.
So that concludes the operations report.
I've got a question.
Yes, Commissioner?
How does the public get informed of where they get their car seats installed? Is that common knowledge? Do they come to the police department or, and how do they?
Our community, sir, we put them in touch with our community's police service officers who are trained to install car seats. So then that officer makes an appointment specifically with the person looking.
Okay, but what I'm asking is, where do they initially get the information that the police department will do this for them?
Yeah,
Is
it
that something
depends.
that the community policing
They can-
puts out, or is
We
it?
put
where
it
they
on our
buy the
social
car seats?
media, but
Okay,
it's also the local hospitals will direct them. When anyone has a
Okay.
new baby, or the doctors will say, if you need help with a car seat, contact your local police department. Most
Okay.
departments have at least somebody that can do it.
okay,
So that's generally where they get directed to us, or through AAA, or through other, motor vehicle safety organizations.
okay, thank you.
And I think at one point in time, maybe at the open house over at Public Works, we used to have some clinics where we had announced that there's going to be an officer there to help install car seats. So maybe we could try to do that again, because it's critical that those seats are installed properly. If they're not installed properly, a serious injury could occur.
Yes.
Okay, Deputy Chief Zecca, you're going to continue with the training report?
Okay, for February, we had our annual firearms training is continuing, and low light training that we do every year and qualifications has been continuing, and that will continue through the year as we qualify the entire department. We had someone recertify in our NCIC. We trained another panelist for our entry-level interviews. As you know, recruitment right now is a big push for us, and we have been interviewing on an ongoing basis for that initial interview. So we have trained more people to conduct those interviews, so that we always have a panel able to continuing to interview entry level, so we can keep the process moving as quickly as possible. And then we had some review credit, driver training, and police and the public are part of our new review credit cycle that we've just started up the cycle for a third of the department for their annual, well, their every 3-year review credit cycle. So they've attended those classes and also sexual harassment prevention. And then additionally, there was monthly emergency services team training. And that wraps up our training for the month.
Any questions of Deputy Chief Second in the training?
No.
Just kind of an aside relative to firearms training. Chief, there seems to be a regional outreach or trying to put together a regional firing range. Can you explain that a little bit to us or whoever?
Yeah, Westcog is spearheading a movement and hired a consultant that did a study on a regional firearms range. The issue we're having now is a lot of the local ranges either have reduced hours, are not allowing police anymore because of complaints regarding the amount of shooting that occurs at the ranges. Because as more and more areas are getting built up, what used to be, ranges that were out in the middle of nowhere are no longer in the middle of nowhere. They're now near neighborhoods and other things. The range up at Worcester Mountain is where we were doing a lot of our outdoor training, as were other police departments. That we learned recently has been reduced down, where Thursdays are no longer allowing police use, again, because of complaints on the amount of shooting that's going on there. So Westcog, knowing all this, is working on a grant to fund a regional training facility somewhere in Fairfield County. And there's a meeting, I think it's the end of this week, among a number of police and Westcog people and municipal people to go over the study and talk about possible locations that it may be able to be built. So that's where it stands. There is a study that was done. They do have a plan in place, but the location is the hiccup right now.
Okay, yeah, I'll probably get more information. I was in some of the discussions, so I just wanted you to update the rest of the commission. And I know you had indicated that Worcester Mount was no longer available. That was a very convenient place for our officers to go. So, any questions from the commission?
No questions.
Okay, moving right along. We have a course approval for Officer Scott Russo. Chief?
Officer Russo,
Move it for discussion. One of the commissioners want to move this?
Oh, so move it.
Okay,
I move the item. The course approval for Scott Russo.
okay. Chief?
Officer Russo wants to return to school to get his bachelor's degree, and he's requesting course approval for police administration and operations through Southern New Hampshire University, working towards his bachelor's in criminal justice.
So refresh my memory, do we have to approve the idea of him going back and then each individual course?
You're approving the course, police administration and operations. He just
Okay.
asked for that one course right now.
Okay. Any discussion from the commission?
No discussion.
Questions?
I just think it's wonderful that he seeks this improvement to be an asset to himself and our department.
I concur with Commissioner Clemens. I just have a question. Because I'm looking at where it says the reimbursement part, right? So how does that work relative to the criteria?
Yeah, once he completes the course, if he successfully completes it, he provides documentation of that, along with the payment invoice, the amount that he paid for the class, and then it comes back to the police commission for 50% reimbursement pursuant to the police contract.
Okay. And that contract establishes the criteria of grading, or does it?
Just a minimum grade, I believe. I believe it's a C.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No further questions on my part.
like Commissioner Clemens said, and Commissioner Lopez, I believe if you check, we probably have one of the most highly educated police departments anyplace. We have officers working for their master's degrees, officers that have their master's degree, officers that are working for their bachelor's degree, and officers that have it. So this is a really good program, and the reimbursement money is carried in our annual budget. So seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Chief, we have informational items, complimentary letters.
Yeah, as you know, we met on the last day of February, so it's only been a few weeks since the last meeting, so there's not as many as normal. But the first is for Officer Acosta. He was on light duty and was assigned to communications. And this is from supervisor in there, Corey Robinson, who noted Officer Acosta's work ethic and his attitude working in there, and the impact that he made in there. And he feels that that's going to really help both the dispatchers and patrol, bringing them closer together. So I wanted to just acknowledge that. The next two are from an individual who is an anti-mask person. And as a result, there were a couple incidents where businesses or city or locations called the police because he refused to put the mask on as he was requested to do by the mandate. Officers responded, and he wanted to highlight Officer Gomez in one situation, how he handled it very professionally and diffused the situation, and also Officer Vasquez, who also handled it very professionally, and he wanted me to know that and reach out. And then the final one is from a teacher at Norwalk High School. She had an issue with an email from a student that she was concerned about, and Sergeant Orr took care of that investigation and also followed up to clear that. And she was very impressed with how he handled it, his professionalism, and how he worked with her and also the student regarding that complaint.
And for the short time between commission meetings, you've gotten quite a few letters of commendation. And I'm always pleased that people take the time to do that. They recognize good police work, recognize professionalism, and they're willing to write of their experience. Any questions from the commissioners or comments?
No, I too appreciate their taking the time to write and tell of their interaction with our police officers. It's good for us to know, because we can't be everywhere and don't have eyes to see. And while we commend a few officers each month, it's good to see those who don't get commendations that still do good work for the department and for the community.
Very good. So moving right along, next item on the agenda is an action item, promotion of Officer James Barron to detective. Do I have a motion for discussion?
Come on.
Moved by Commissioner Lopez. Chief?
Yeah, as you know, Detective Brendan Collins resigned from the department to accept a position with the FBI as a special agent. And now he is working with the FBI. He completed his training and he's now assigned to a field office. With that, we obviously have an opening that we can fill. Officer Barron, James Barron, finished 1 on the recent detective test and is in line for that promotion, and also is well deserving of it. He's been a tremendous officer in every assignment that he's been given. He's excelled. He does a great job. And because of that and the opening, I think it's only fitting that he be promoted to detective.
Thank you, Chief. Any discussion?
No discussion for me.
No, I think that's actually great.
Congratulations to him.
One of the best things that the commission, the feel-good things that the commission can do is giving somebody a promotion and watching them rise through the ranks and take on greater responsibilities. And it's always a proud moment. So I think it's wonderful. And congratulations to Officer Barron. If we can now take a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously, and congratulations to Officer Barron, now Detective Barron, who,
Mayor Rilling, Officer Barron is here with me now, if you want to say a few words.
sure. Officer Barron.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. I look forward to this opportunity.
We know you'll do an excellent job.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah.
I appreciate your service, Officer Barrett, very much.
Thank you, sir.
I'll tell you what, the chief set the bar pretty high, talking about how good you were and always accepting greater responsibilities and doing a remarkable job in whatever assignment you're given. So we know that you will continue along those lines.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And this will be
Detective-
effective on Thursday.
Effective on
Detective
Thursday?
Barron,
Yes?
Detective Barron, how long have you been with us?
Oh, about 6 years, ma'am.
That is awesome. That is really, I know a lot of the new hires, one of the things that they speak of when they're coming on and why they came to Norwalk is because of the room for advancement. And you are evidence, if you put in the work, and the advancements will come. So kudos to you. We're very
Yes, ma'am.
proud
I've
of
been
you.
very lucky here so far, and I appreciate that.
But you've also worked very hard too.
Yes, ma'am.
And I will work with Sally to get a time for a formal swearing in ceremony between now and Thursday.
That'll be fine. And a bit of advice for Officer Barron. I too finished #1 on the Detective Bureau test. And then shortly after that, I was taking a sergeant's test and figured, you know what? I did so well on the Detective Bureau test, I don't have to study. Well, I did pass the test, but not high enough, and I didn't get promoted off that list. So just a word of advice.
All right. Thank you, sir. I'll make sure to study.
Very good. Thank you. So again, congratulations, and the chief will make arrangements for you to come in for the administration of your oath.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
And Chief, I know that you mentioned to me that there are 2 openings, but because of personnel shortages, manpower shortages, you've opted not to fill the 2nd opening at this time. But when does the Detective Bureau list expire?
It's very new. It just got implemented. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to fill that shortly, sooner than later.
Well, I believe, speaking on behalf of the commission, I'd like you to speak to the person who sits #2 on the list and tell them that this commission will make sure that he or she gets promoted.
Very good. I will call him and let him know that.
Thank you.
It's also a very good candidate as well, Officer Nyquist. So
Good,
he's also
Good.
deserving.
good. Okay, having said that, now the next item, I need a motion to go into executive session.
I move to go into executive session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're going into executive session for a review of background of prospective officer candidates and another discussion on disability pension. So we are going into executive session at 4:45. We have to leave this session and go into the other Zoom meeting.
Correct.
Okay, we're just waiting for Commissioner Lopez to rejoin. Chief, I know that Deputy Chief Zecca went to a PAL meeting. I wonder if Commissioner Lopez will need some assistance finding the link.
Let me, I think Jimmy's gonna run over there and check. I'll
Okay.
try calling him too.
Okay. Commissioner Lopez has joined us. We are now back in public session. The time is 5:53. We came out of executive session at 4:48. During executive session, no motions were made, no votes were taken. Now we have items on the agenda for action. The first one being the rescission of the action taken by the commission on February 28th, I believe, in reference to Officer Joseph Frattaroli. Is that correct? Was that the right date?
That's
Yes.
correct.
Yes.
So could I have a motion?
I move that we rescind the action taken by the police commission on 2/28.
In
In
reference to Officer Frattaroli?
Correct, correct, in reference to Officer Frattaroli's disability.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Next item is the conditional offer of employment to 4 comparative candidates for joining the Norwalk Police Department. We should probably take them, I guess, one at a time. The first one being Caden Darrow, D-A-R-R-A-W. Do I have a motion?
OW, DARROW.
Oh, D-A-R-R-O-W. Do I have a motion?
I move to offer employment to Caden Darrell,
Okay, that's a conditional offer.
conditional offer of
Chief?
employment.
What is the date that we've set?
I'm not sure if you could do date to be determined by the chief or something like that. I
Okay.
have to
They could
verify
be
with
determined
Brian.
by the chief.
Okay.
And we also
that's
want to
fine.
make sure they have their 2 weeks notice and that kind
Right.
of thing. We want to do them all at the same time so they can be trained at the same time.
Yep. Okay, so all in favor of offering the conditional offer of employment to Caden Darrow?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Nothing. Next one is Maxwell Runez, R-U-N.
Mr. Mayor, can I just interject quickly? The
Yeah.
conditional offer was what we gave him to do the background.
Okay.
This would be actual employment
Have they
pending
been-
completion of the probationary period, et cetera.
But that also, have they been through the drug testing and medical exam and all that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the offering
Okay.
employment, that's even better.
So do I need to correct my motion?
Yeah, I
If
think.
maybe we could just say, offer them employment with the department pending completion of any final testing and yeah, that's really basically it. I believe they've all had everything done, but just in case one of them is pending the medical or something, I don't want to.
Okay. All right, so Commissioner, you can,
Okay, I move offer of employment to Caden Darrow. The date of offer is to be determined pending any additional tests or reports that are necessary to complete this.
okay, so let's re-vote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next, I think it's Maxwell. Is it Runez, Chief? RUNES?
Runes, yeah.
Do I have a motion?
I so
Move to
move.
offer an employment for Maxwell of, I'm sorry, I got his name wrong.
Runes.
Rumps.
Runes.
Pending any conditional tests that may be required by the chief.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Next is Mark. Chief, will you spell the name for us?
Which one are you on?
Bolt,
Mark,
Voltz.
Correct.
B,
V is in Victor.
V. E, L,
OELTZ.
okay. Volts, it looks like.
Yes.
Do we have a motion for Mark Volts?
I move offer of employment to Mark Voltz, date to be determined, and pending any further reports or completion of medical, whatever is needed in order for him to complete compliance for employment.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstentions, motion carries. And the next one is Jonathan.
Ransford.
Ransford.
You wanna spell it?
Ransford with an R.
Okay, so do we have a motion?
I move we offer employment to Jonathan Bransford, date to be determined by the police chief, pending any completion of reports or exams that are necessary.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstentions, motion carries. That completes the business coming before the Board of Police Commissioners on this date. The next meeting is scheduled to be April 18th, 2022 at 4:15 p.m. And I will now entertain a motion.
I move to adjourn.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstentions, opposed. We are adjourned at 5:59 p.m. Thank you.
And what I'll
Thank you.
do is I'll get a hold of Sally for a date for swearing in. And on these four, which won't be right away, obviously, but I'll get a date for the promotional oath of office for Officer Barron for
Right.
in the next few days, and I'll let the other commissioners know what the time is.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
all. Well, enjoy. Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
too.
Have a great week, everyone.
Much.